Thanks once again joining for the today's session. Today what we will do is we'll quickly review what all the topics that we covered. The all the chapters like the right from connecting to various data sources to till DAX. We have seen it. So today what we will do is we will just quickly review and see how best you should be able to crack the interview. Okay, and this gives me an idea about the preparedness for the interview by each individual. Okay, so in the past batch, some student, right, before even I complete reading the question, but they answered it. But anyhow, I understood a lot of you have a lot of priorities, a lot of personal problems, right? You cannot do it, learn it over the night. Anyhow, these are the common questions. What kind of common question that you can expect it at the time of interview? They will ask you, so, the upfront. Tell me something about yourself. Break the ice. They will start with, tell me something about yourself. So how do you start with this one? Okay, is there anyone can open up? I'll unmute. Can someone talk about this? If they ask you, can you tell something about yourself? Okay, maybe you're all working in different industry. I will talk on your behalf. So if somebody is asking me this question as a developer, you just think, I'm a developer, 4 years experience. So tell me something about yourself. That's what interview questions. What I do, how I start is sure. First of all, thanks for shortlisting my profile for data analyst role. I'm Satya. By mid 2018, I finished my BTech in IT, and I had already begun my path in analytics. And I have close to 4 years of experience. I have used SQL and Power BI throughout my career as a data analyst with Capgemini. I jointly worked with data architects in designing the data model as well. So I can rate myself on a scale of 0 to 5 as 4 in Power BI and 4 in SQL queries, writing SQL queries, stored procedures, and creating stored functions, so on and so forth in SQL Server. So I can rate myself 4 in SQL Server. So that's pretty much about me. Okay, the next one is tell me something about your current project. What challenges that you have posed? Tell me something about your current projects. How will you tell them? This is one of the important questions will be asked by the interviewer. Basically, they wanted to understand, how well you have understood your current project. What is your contribution? How your contribution enable the projects or enable the customers to gain more values. See, customers can give project to Wipro, Accenture, TCS, or any IT companies. End of the day, what value a company can do. See, it's not like something like do what I say. So we pay money to you, Indian guys. For example, you're part of Deloitte. We have given this analytics project, and these are our requirements, pain points. You develop the reports, dashboards. So we not only explain outside of this, what other thing that you can deliver to us, what value you can bring to the table. That is what they are expecting from us as part of this. The interviewer, they'll expect you this one. So especially nowadays, what happens even after you clear the India interview, like TCS or Cognizant or Deloitte, Accenture, and you will have another round of interview with Americans directly. They expect this one from us. Okay, the question is, tell me something about your current project. What challenges that you post? Again, if you say yes, we have a lot of challenges posed. Can you tell me those challenges and how you overcame those kind of challenges? Okay, first off, let's start with the project. Okay. So what? So let's say you have asked this question. You are an interviewer. So how I'm going to answer? All right. I just give you a quick background about my current project. My current my present customer, it's a they are the largest global. They have a largest global retail chain located in USA, and they have close to 1,500 plus stores spread across the globe. Our present customer, they kicked off an initiative to build an automated, scalable, interactive, robust analytics environment. The problem statement of the current project is, at present, our customers have been using gamut of technology. So there are some location in within their organization, they are using Excel. In some other places, some other branches of their company, they are using a Power BI tool, and somewhere they are using other data visualization tools. So it takes a lot of time and effort for them to deliver the unified insights about the business performance to the stakeholders within the expected or simulated time. Okay. And here, the situation, the current, their present situation was something like 50% of their people, they know only Excel. And as you are aware, Excel involves a lot of manual tasks that lead to a lot of data inconsistency related errors and a lot of duplication efforts at present in their reports. And the data sets used by various reporting users are available in their local system itself. So in simple example is in Bangalore, you are listening in San Jose, in USA, California, San Jose, those people let's take for example Walmart, right? In San Jose, Walmart, they are using Excel, and in other San Francisco, they are using the Power BI tool. In North Carolina, they are using Tableau. Like they are using different tools, and also the data, whatever they use it, that's all available in their Excel sheet. Everything is buried in their laptop. They kept it everything in their laptop or in their local system. If you want to get a unified view across the globe, what is the total sales across sales by country, by state? It is not possible. I have to collaborate with so many people. Collaborating with multiple location people, it takes a lot of time. They want to first build a centralized data warehouse. In that data warehouse, they want to keep the entire data. So if they keep entire data in a single in a place, common place, it can be consumed by the stakeholders across the globe over cloud. So nowadays everybody is using cloud, and even our present customer, they are they stored everything in cloud. They are using Azure, Microsoft Cloud, and in Azure we have used to the SQL Server database, and also some files were available in Azure Blob. Blob is something, some files is to see in the DOS operating system, Microsoft. See, when you boot your laptop, what will happen? You have the DOS operating system, and then you have some file system on top of it, right? So similarly, the this one, right? So the other one is also having different file systems. Hadoop also has its own file system. The cloud, you have something called blob. On top of the blob, we store the data. BLOB, blob storage. Okay, so basically they want us to store all the data in a centralized place, and already they built a centralized data, but still it was not much helpful. The users were not storing the data in the centralized location. And from our side, we have from my side, I have been involving in this support and enhancement project for the last 3.5 years. Okay, and I belong to the support and enhancement project. Whenever there is any issues with the live production on reports or ETL jobs, we have to step in and we need to resolve it. Okay, so apart from this, we need to every month we have a release. Every month we have a release. As part of the release, what we do is we develop some new reports and we make some changes to the existing report. Apart from this, if any job breaks, anything fails, we are the one responsible for fixing them. So in that case, since it's a support and enhancement project, yes, it will go on, year and year. Every year they will renew the SOW, statement of work. So contract, they will renew it, customer themselves. If they find a satisfactory with our performance, Indian Accenture or TCS, their performance, right? The offshore team performance is good, they will renew it. Okay, so this is the pain point. The pain point is the data are available as islands. The Cincinnati data is available in their system, and the California data is available somewhere else. North Carolina data is available somewhere else, and Chicago data is available in other system. If I want to see everything, all right, so my dashboard should show all the state, sales performance in one go. I have to pull the data from all the environment, but the problem is some people they are using Excel files, some people they are using some other file formats. Okay, so in that case, how can I, combine all the data? So they wanted to have a centralized data warehouse. Data warehouse they have already built, but still there are some new subject areas. They wanted to involve in pulling the data from across the systems, and then we loaded it into a centralized, location. And the next, our job was like involving in ETL, extracting the data, transforming the data, and also building the report, everything. Basically, they want to build a scalable, robust, automated, the yeah, Power BI reports and Tableau reports are like your mm, interactive reports. It is also called as interactive reports. Remember this. It's not like a static report. Okay, they want us to build an interactive, automated, robust report. Integrated in the sense, integrate the data from across the locations, and then right, and then robust. Even if the volume of the data increases, the performance should not go down. Right, the robust, integrated, and scalable. Yeah, scalable is also same. Okay, scalable is also as you add more number of data, the performance should not the slow down, and robust kind of dynamic. Okay, so dynamic and the interactive reports they want us to build, and they want us to build the dashboards. Okay, and currently 50% of their people they are using Excel, and we have mentored them the how to use Power BI some extent. In addition to developing the reports and designing the reports and dashboards, we have mentored their end users also, in the sense the internal users. Okay, how to use Power BI. All them we train them so that consistently across the locations, everyone now started using Power BI. And also a lot of issues with the data loading. It took a lot of time to load the data. And the current project where I work, I stepped in and I was given an task. I was given a task to reduce the performance time from the SQL point of view and from the Power BI point of view. And there are some scenarios. My contribution helped to reduce the ETL load cycle time. Okay, and then I improved the report refresh time. What do you mean by ETL cycle time? For example, you are loading the data from location A to location B. So I don't want to say some blind word. So data warehouse, and staging area to data warehouse while loading the data as part of ETL. Okay, we extract the data from a source system. What is my source system? My OLTP system, which is nothing but you just think your e-commerce website data gets stored here, and from here to here the data will get loaded, extracted on a daily basis, and some data will get extracted on a weekly basis, and the data will get loaded into staging as it is. But we don't do any T here, only E. E stands for extracting the data. We simply extract, we don't do any data transformation. Once all the necessary data extracted from all the um, required tables, the data will get available in the staging database. It's kind of a replica of this one, okay? And then once the data are available in staging, the next one is we do the T transformation. We combine the tables or files, and then what we do is we do all the data cleaning. What kind of data cleaning that you did? We remove the duplicate records, and then we have removed the columns that are not required for an analysis, and we did some kind of aggregation, and we need to do some kind of appending because for the monthly sales report, the data was not available in a single file. So weekly data file, we used to get it. So for each month, we have to consolidate 4 weeks data file into a single file so that we should be able to create the monthly sales performance. So these kind of jobs we carry out as for the data transformation. Apart from this, what we do is we do data reshaping and data format related issues like for the date column, the text data type assigned, for the numeric data type, the text data type assigned, So in those kind of situations, we had to fix those kind of issues. And then what we do is we address any missing values. In case of any missing values, we have to address them. And finally, what we do is once the T is done, the transformation, data transformation is done. Once the transformation, nothing but data pre-processing. Once the data pre-processing is done, the next step is L. The L comes here. The staging area is a temporary area. It's kind of your kitchen. You do all kind of processing here. So it's something like a market. The source system is something like your market. You go to a market, you buy meat and chicken, fish and vegetables, everything you buy it. Simply you buy it here and keep it here. And here in the kitchen, what do? You do cleaning and you mix all the necessary ingredients and then you prepare everything and then finally you deliver it to your customer, right? So here the only L part will happen. Please remember this ETL. E stands for extract. T stands for transform. L stands for load. ETL. Okay, the E is happening most of the time between source and your staging area, and then the T is happening in the staging area itself, and the L. Okay, now the question is why the T is happening only in the staging area? Why can't it happen in the so while extracting the data from your source, you can't you do the transformation? No. It's something like while you buy the items from the shop, immediately you cannot do the cooking, right? So you need to bring and you need to clean it, and then you need to do the right. So cooking, the same analogy is applicable here. So you bring all the data here as it is, and then you clean it, and then you do some data pre-processing, formatting, everything. You do it, and then once you pre-process, clean the data, and then push it to your data warehouse. They'll ask you next question, what is a data warehouse? Data warehouse will have an historical data and it is a non-volatile. It will not undergo frequent changes. Okay. And then it is a time variant. Okay. It's a time variant. And because we want to compare year on year sales, quarter on quarter sales. So in that case, right, we need to store the data, time-based data, we need to store it here. Okay. That's it. So yeah, every one of your answer leads to another question. Remember that. Okay, in the next question, these are all kind of screening questions. They'll ask how what is your contribution as part of your current project. Okay, you said you have improved the cycle time, ETL cycle time. ETL cycle time. You improved the ETL cycle time by, let's say, 16%. Don't say 100%. No one will believe. Okay, 16% ETL cycle, which means the load time from here to here. While loading the data, it took longer time. What we did, we have created some partition. We suggested the customer to create some partition. What do you mean by partition? For example, you have a fact table in the SQL server. What you are doing is you suggested them to create a region wise partition. For example, north region, you create in a separate folder in the database. It's kind of, you just think it's a folder, okay, or separate disk, hard disk. And then another hard disk is something like south region. So whenever the user wants to see one of the sales south performance, it'll go and read it only in this disk, in this partition. Instead of saying disk, you just think partition. We are splitting the data into by partitions. Okay, the partition could be based on region, based on quarter, right? Something, or within this they can do the combination of the region wise, quarter wise. They do the partition. If you say north, within this Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 will be there. So if your query is looking for north region quarter one sales performance, it will go only to this place. Something like if you store the data in different places, like how you store the food items, right? You don't keep all the food items in a single container. You don't mix everything, right? So you keep chilies in a separate thing. Likewise, they partition it. So once they partition it, the access time will be faster. See, instead of if I give you a big full scale file, and then if I ask you to read everything, it will take longer time. So though you are supposed to read only north region related sales, but this in this sheet you mixed north, south, east, west, everything. If I ask you to, can you tell me in 10 minutes time what is the north sales, right? Here, let's hypothetically you have 10,000 records are there. Okay, so in that case 10,000 lines are there. Each and every line go there. This is not north, this is not north. searching and doing, it will take time. Instead, if they give you in a separate sheets for each region, it will be easier for you to read it. So what you can tell them? So we suggested them create a partition on the SQL server system itself for the fact table. We have something called sales fact table, and we have something called purchase fact table. For these fact tables, we suggested them because the fact tables consist of huge volume of the data. Okay, the for fact tables is nothing but this is the one holding the historical data. The next question is to check the general. So how much volume of the data you have it in your fact table? You can tell them 5 years data. So 5 years of data, we store it in fact table. In the case of data warehouse, okay. Data warehouse, where it is residing, it is in the SQL server. I'll just write it neatly somewhere. So this is my data warehouse. Let's see, here you have a subject area called sales. Okay, sales is a subject area. SCA stands for subject area. Here, what is it? I was talking something. Yeah, the volume of the data, right? So I was talking about the volume of the data. This is your data warehouse. And then here you have the sales subject area, all the sales related data. Now the question is, okay, you have this sales subject area. How many fact tables were there? How many dimension tables? Even if you talk continuously, they will say, okay, please hold on. Can you please tell me how many number of fact tables and dimension tables that you used in your sales subject area? Then tell them, we have used close to 2 fact tables, and then 7 dimension tables. 2 fact tables and 7 dimension tables. Okay. So what is the volume of the fact table? The fact table stores close to 5 years of data, historical data. Okay. This is with respect to the years. Okay. And if they ask you the volume of the data, you can tell them somewhat closer to, it has closer to 5 billion records or so, 5 billion records. Okay, 15 billion records. You can approximately, you just use the smart word, approximately 15 billion records. Don't give to the point answer. Okay, you just say approximate, roughly 15 billion records they used to store it. And again, we suggested them for the queries what we use it to create the partition. After creating the partition, already they created the partition was not created as a more report friendly. And we suggested them to create a partition based on the region by quarter. Okay, and then we could see an improvement in the performance, and that's how, right, we are able to achieve. Since I suggested and they implemented it, we are able to increase the cycle time. Loading time is also faster, and then the read time is also faster. Data loading should also be faster. If the data takes 1 week time to load in a table, and if your manager expects you to generate a report in 4 hours, is it possible? No, right? The data, so in that case, your data should load in a pretty fast manner. And then loading should be faster, and at the same time, retrieving the data. Whenever the user queries the data, that performance should also be good. And you tell them we have requested them create some index, right? After creating the index and then creating the partitions, we could see an improvement, dramatic improvement with respect to the load time, with respect to the read time. This is one of the contributions. Apart from this, in the current project, I have created a couple of reusable components. These are the values, reusable, okay, component. So why you created, what are the reusable components? You remember, how many of you remember this when I explained you the trigger, right? So whenever the data gets loaded into a fact table, the fact table also, right? And we have another table, auditing table. The audit table, what happened, what time the data got loaded today, and how many number of records got loaded, and how many number of records got updated. Okay, those kind of things you will capture in the audit table. You tell them from the data model design point of view, you suggested them to keep the audit table for our new subject area also. Don't tell, right, we have suggested the audit table, they will laugh at you because it's enterprise database. Already they should be having it. already they're having, but for the current sales subject area, what we work, they did not prefer to have this one, but we strongly recommended them as a best practice to keep this one, so that we'll get to know when a new record came in, when the cancel record came in, right? When we update, when the change happened to the existing previous records, those kind of things we are able to capture with the help of the audit table. By having this, we are able to easily pinpoint where the problem is, okay, and what changes happened, when all the things we are able to capture in case of any job failure or something like that, or after successful completion of the job, each job, we get to know how much time it takes to load the data. We should be able to track this one. So these are the things that from the maintenance point of view we have suggested these kind of things. Fine. So this is enough. If I talk too much, you will get confused. Okay. And because it will be too much. And the next thing is the common question. Out of curiosity, they will ask you. So, okay, tell me how many number of reports that you have developed, of which, let's say, if you say, yeah, I have developed close to 12 reports and 2 dashboards. Okay, tell me, out of this, how many of them were low complex and medium complex and high complex reports? So let's say, in our case, I have developed 12 reports and 3 dashboards. And apart from this, the existing reports, we made some changes, enhancement. As part of the enhancement, existing reports, we made some changes. What changes you made it? What happened in couple of reports, the tables, whatever they use it, they introduce from new columns, for a few new columns. Okay. They want us to take into account of the newly included columns data as well in the previously created report. Okay. So in the dashboard, you have a lot of KPIs. In addition to that, they want to see expenses. Okay. They wanted to introduce expenses. In that case, the value for expense should be available in a table, right? Some column they created it. In that, they mentioned about the expenses also. Since they introduced a new column in the table level, because of the reason that they wanted to see it in the dashboard, we need to modify the existing report. So how did you modify this? What we do is, from the production system, before make any changes to the existing system, we take the report from the production system and move it to our dev environment. Here, what we do is we modify the report as per the new requirement, and we make sure that we include the newly created column, and then we include additional KPIs in the existing dashboard, and then what we do is we send it to the testing team. They will do the testing, and then what we do is UAT, user acceptance testing. Finally, it will get moved to production. That's all. Okay, now the question is, okay, out of 12 reports that you developed, how many of them were low complex? You can say almost 7 reports were low complex, and medium were, I would say, 3 reports, or listen, 3 reports, and complex reports were, 3. Now this is 2 here, okay, 2 and 3. So 10 plus to 12 reports. Okay, low, medium, and complex reports. Okay, why do you say these 3 reports are complex reports? Because in this reports, it involved many pages. Each report, right, if you see, minimum on an average, 6 to 8 pages were there. And then the business logics were very complex one. Hence, it took time for us to create these reports. Okay, and then when it comes to medium, again in the case of reports, right, we have to use many tables. You have to join multiple tables, and then the business logic itself very complex one. And also, each report they want us to have multiple pages, more than 5 plus. I don't remember exactly on top of my head. 5 plus pages we have created in these 3 reports. And the next thing is, they'll ask you said you have 7 dimension tables and 2 fact tables. Can you tell me the table names? Can you tell me the 7 dimension tables and 2 fact tables? Can you tell me few of the tables? Yeah, I'll tell you. So the one is the customer dimension. You can tell very clear, right? If you are working in a retail market, you can say customer dimension. Customer has to purchase, and which store? Not in the east Chennai, North Chennai, South Chennai. In which store or retail chain customer purchased? Customer dimension, store dimension, and we have something date dimension. Date dimension is very easy to remember. Date dimension, and then product dimension. Obviously, without product, how we can, right? So in the product itself, we capture all the categories, subcategory, and then the product name, the product dimension, and what else? And then the location dimension. Okay, location dimension. The location dimension captures the country, state, everything. Okay, the location dimension, product dimension, date dimension, store dimension, customer dimension. These are the fact tables or dimension tables we are using it. And the fact tables, you have something called sales fact, or you can say order fact, and then we have fulfillment fact. Fulfillment fact. As the name suggests, all the orders raised by the customers will be stored here. Along with that, the fulfillment, right? So apart from this, you have another fact table. Here, when the orders, got fulfilled on which date? See, a single order, listen, your order number is 1,000. Okay. In the single order, the customer would have ordered three different products or two different products. For hypothetically, product A, product B, product C. Okay. Not necessarily. Again, if you see, right, these three products were ordered in this order number is repeated here. Though they ordered three different products in a single order, not necessarily they have to ship all the three in one go. If you order it in Amazon, right? So three items you are ordering it, but some items they deliver it in some day, and some other on different days they will deliver it. If you are lucky, right, they will deliver it all these three in a single day. But different days they order it. But for to capture those kind of things, right, we have something called fulfillment fact table. Okay, they will gain more confidence. This candidate seems to be pretty genuine. Okay, if I recruit her or him, they are going to be my asset. They'll ask you the table name, and then can you tell me? Next question is, can you tell me what is a fact table and what is a dimension table? So what is a fact table and what is a dimension table? Can you tell me? And again, you can add more here. So you can say, right, something like in our case, we are using, okay, I will write it neatly here. So you can dimension tables like customer dimension, product dimension, location dimension, date dimension, and you have something called a store dimension, which store the customer has ordered, right? In which store and which location, which product ordered by which customer on which date. Okay, you got access for all these things. Okay, and apart from this, what else? You have something called channel dimension. Channel dimension. So which channel the order has been received? Is it through online or through the e-commerce website, or they came to your store and they purchased it, or was it done by sales made by through some salesperson? Okay, something like that. And then promotional dimension or something called promotional dimension. Okay, you can tell, if you tell all these things, they will think definitely you are a potential candidate. You really worked in real time scenario. Customer dimension, product and location dimension. That's it. And then fact table, sales fact, and then we have fulfillment fact. Fine. And then they might ask you questions like, okay, so what is dimension table? What is a fact table? See, these are my dimension tables. All these things are my dimension tables. This is my fact tables. Sales, it's an order fact and fulfillment fact. Fulfillment fact. Okay, in total, how many? We have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tables. Joining multiple. There are some reports we need to join all these tables. And, channel by, sales by, channel by, store by, location by, product by, customer. Okay, and again, promotion dimension, right? The how effective the promotion. We launched a campaign recently. So after and before and after campaign. So what is the channel wise, store wise, date wise, location wise, sales performance? So in that kind of situation, joining multi tables with huge volume of data, it took longer time, a lot of performance related issues, and also the business logics were a bit complex. That is the reason why I said complex. I define it as a complex. What defines you according to a complex report? Joining multiple tables, business logic was very complex, and yeah, so these are the factors which made these reports very complex. And medium, it's okay, but as the name suggests, right, we don't have to join multiple tables. And low, year oddly, we join 5 or 6 tables. That's all. Fine. The next step is how many days you took to develop this one, right? This one, including coding and unit testing, 2 days. Medium, 4 days. Complex reports, 6 to 8, depends. Guys, I'll tell you during this. These are all screening questions. If you talk this one, definitely they will gain your confidence. They will think your profile is very genuine, and you can close your eyes and ask, demand them. Hey, give me 12 lakhs. Okay. Okay, you said you developed complex reports. Okay, everything is fine. It's quite interesting. Can you please tell me the KPIs that you have used in your project? What are the KPIs that you used it? Okay, what kind of KPIs? A simple thing is your number of customers, total number of customers. How many number of customers we acquired so far? Our customer base, total number of customers, and the total profit, and net profit, and net margin, and also we have net sales to last year, and net unit sales, net profit. I just write everything here. I will just do this one. KPIs. KPIs are something like simple KPIs you can start. Okay, the revenue, revenue, cost of goods sold, and different website. They give different formulas for cost of goods sold. Okay, and but if you are the account student, you must be knowing it. What is cost of goods? So what is the manufacturing cost of many things, right? The actual cost. The cost will be factored based on your warehouse space, how much space it is occupying. Okay, and then what is the raw material? How much? Let's say you are a manufacturing company. How much money you spent in terms of buying the raw materials, and then the production cost and other things, right? All these things they factor it to arrive the cost price, cost of goods sold, and revenue. And the next one is the net margin. Okay, and then the net margin percentage. Okay, and net sales to last year, year. Okay, and then net unit sales. And then the net margin, right? So the revenue, what is the revenue? Revenue is something like or net revenue. We can see net revenue. Okay, net revenue is something like, what is net revenue? How will you? It's something like your gross sales minus the returns, customer returns, and minus the discount, whatever you gave them, right? The discount and returns, and then probably tax, right? After subtracting all these things, you will get the net revenue from the gross sales. Sorry, gross sales. You need to subtract these kind of thing in order to get your net revenue. Got it? Returns plus discount plus what else? Is there anything else? Any account students are there here? Any account student? Okay, so this is the one, right? You can use it. So or you can use this one. You can net revenue For that, we have used, we have to subtract the returns plus the discount plus the tax amount from the gross sales. Okay, or the shipping also we are charging the customer. Hence, we don't have to specify. There are some cases free shipment is there, right? So you need to include the free shipping charges. Also, you need to use it. Okay, Amazon, if you go for Prime, right? If you go for Prime, they will do free delivery. They don't charge you shipping charges, right? You don't have any shipping charges, and free delivery, and 1 day delivery is also there. But everything they take care of it. But end of the day, as a business, you should be knowing it. For each transaction, what is the net revenue? Cross sales minus return plus discount plus shipping charges applicable plus tax. Okay, or tax also probably you can ignore it. Okay, you can tell returns plus discount plus shipping charges, whatever is applicable. You subtract from gross sales, you will get net revenue. And then what else? You have this one. The next one is the net sales to last year. So, right, so with nothing but net revenue to last year, net unit sales in terms of units, quantities, okay? And then net margin and margin percentage. Net margin, how will you compute it? The simple thing is, net sales, see the net margin. So you can find a lot of things, but if you end of the day, if you stick to one thing and if you can tell them very clearly, that is enough. Okay, a lot of formulas are there. Again, depends on the company. They use different things. Net sales minus net revenue or net sales, right? That is the one I just mentioned it here, and minus sum of cost of goods sold plus operating expenses. The employee salary, labor salary, right? Operating expense, and then the wear and tear of the machines in your manufacturing unit. Net sales minus sum of cost of goods operating expenses, that gives us the net margin. Net margin percentage, how many of you remember it? How many of you remember net margin percentage? The total net revenue divided by, sorry, net profit divided by sales, right? The net sales. That is the one give you net margin percentage. That's all. And then simple thing, if you don't remember, to number of customers. Number of customers, number of units sold, and other thing is the revenue, margin, this kind of thing, and probably you can include expenses also, but expense will come in the financial part, profit, loss, financial reporting. When you develop it, you use that word. Okay. And then the next thing is, these are the APIs, KPIs, okay, key performance indicators. And they will ask you what is key performance indicator. The key performance indicators are like a metrics using which we measure where we stand compared to our last sales, net sales. Now, what is our current year net sales? Can we see any upward trend in terms of the sales, or upward or downward? Does it requires any intervention? Right? So with the help of the KPIs, we can measure where do we stand. Okay, the next one is, what is your team size? What is your roles and responsibility, right? So you can tell them in offshore in the sense in Bangalore office. You just say, in Bangalore in Accenture or Deloitte office, we have in the offshore, we have close to seven associates were there. Of these seven, five of us are developers and two of them are ETL guys. They are, predominantly working on creating the stored procedures in the SQL server, and then stored function, everything they used to do. Sometimes we used to do some stored procedures creation also. Okay, in total we have 7 people, and then in on-site we have one coordinator, on-site coordinator. Okay, we have one guy, and he's the one understanding the requirements from the customer. And then what he does is he translate the knowledge, whatever he gained from the requirements, whatever he understood from the customer on site, right? He will explain it to us during our daytime, India time. Okay, he's the one, gathering the requirements and validating the requirements in conjunction with our offshore team. And also the design, everything, high-level design, he does this. And then what we do is a low-level design. And then what we do is we start to do the coding and unit testing here. What is unit testing? Whatever the code I developed it, I am going to test that code, whether this code is working as expected. For example, the net margin, this is the formula that I used it. Okay. So is this correctly computing this? Is this, by doing a slicing, for example, north region, what is the net margin? If I use a slicer and filter it, right, for north region, south region, for all the regions, does it correctly compute the value or not? Right. So the simple thing is the profit divided by the revenue, right? This one will give you the margin percentage. In some location, you don't have any sales. Okay, in that case, what will happen? Anything divided by zero is infinity. It will throw an error, right? So you need to handle these kind of things. Okay, so what you are doing is this kind of validations, you do it as part of requirements gathering along with this guy, and the testing as a developer, you need to test all these scenarios, unit testing. Okay, whether in this scenario, how do I handle the error? We'll discuss about the handling error little later. Okay, and right. So as a developer, my responsibility, design report and dashboard. Apart from this, as a developer, right, involved in requirements validation, and then design. The creating low-level design document and involving coding and unit testing, and make sure that we are implementing all kind of best practices, and then we test it. And what are the bugs raised by our QA team? Let's say you develop the reports, okay, and you inform it to the manager. So you will say, okay, let's say on December 15th is the cutoff date for the development testing, unit testing. You did it everything. The unit testing is the responsibility of the developer. You are the one developed it. You are supposed to test your code thoroughly. Okay, with the different data, you need to test it. If everything is fine, what you do is you tell your manager, yes, I'm done. I developed 5 reports. I tested it, everything. Fine. The next step is, your manager on 16th December, he will inform to the QA team, hey, we are done. You can freeze the code and you can test it. They freeze your code. So once they freeze your code, you cannot make any changes. And the testing team will test your code. That is called your white box testing. Sorry, black box testing. Black box testing. The white box testing will done by you. White box testing. What do you mean by white box testing? You open your code, Power BI report, everything, and go and check the DAX scripts, M scripts, everything is correct. Any problem there, right? You open your code and you check it, and then you check the functionality also. Okay, whether you have optimally written a code or not. Instead of using the redundant M script, so have I used the custom functions? Yes, fine. And then you fix it, everything. Not only the defects, but also make sure that your code is optimal, everything, performance, everything is good to some extent. And then you inform them. These people, they do the black box testing. Who QA? QA people, they don't know Power BI. Maybe they have a minimal knowledge, but if they see your code, they cannot do anything. They simply run your report and then they'll check whether all these business rules or the logic have been implemented correctly. The calculation, they'll take the data from the SQL server and then they write the query and then test it. Whatever is displaying the report is correct or not. Okay. And in case any issues, they will get back to the developer. Hey, this is your bug and you need to fix it. So once you fix it, you inform it back to your QA team again. Again, they will test it and everything goes well, and then it goes to the live. Live is production environment. Okay. Okay. What is your roles and my roles? And simply say, cut phase. I involved in cut phase, coding and unit testing. You can say that. Or, apart from this, bug fixing in case of any existing reports fails or something like that, or enhancement, making, enhancement to the existing reports, ETL jobs, and creating dashboard reports. These are my roles and responsibilities. And the next one is which phase of software development life cycle that you have involved. That's what I said, right? So you can say the low level design. Smartly say low level design and coding, unit testing. So what do you mean by low level design? In the low level design document, they will specify in the dashboard mark screen will be there. You specify what logic needs to be, business rules needs to be used, everything they mention it here. Okay, and also we have something called source to target Excel sheet. There we specify for the net sales, for example, net margin, We need to use net sales column. We need to use cost of goods column. We need to have these three columns. Without that, how can you win? So in the source to target sheet, what we do is we put this in one column, and in the next cell, what we do is we put this column and we put this column name, and then the data we call a table name column name. Hey, in this table, in this column, these values are available. In the Excel sheet, you put it everything there. Okay. So for that is for your data pre-processing, everything you do it, right? Sometimes what we do is we do it everything using DAX. Okay, how many number dashboard that you have created? I already told you. And each report, how many pages you created? Tell me in which report you had more number of pages in it. So in this case, what you can say, right? We have something called the sales report, sales performance report. So wherein we have close to 8 to 9 pages were there. Can you tell me the few? The first page was executive summary, and second page was top performance, top sales one. Therein, in that page, we had to display the top 10 customers, top 10 products, and top 10 subcategories, top 10 regions, top 10 countries. Okay. Apart from this, we have something else like the this one, the region location wise performance, something like that. Okay, so location wise detailed performance. Okay, so those kind of thing. And apart from this, we have another one where they wanted to see the this one, because the top 10 we cannot accommodate a single report page. So we had two different pages. Okay, for the location we have separate thing, and for this one, and then detailed one will gives us more detail about each and every transactions, not transaction, yeah, transaction level, by country level if they want to see it, likewise, right? So close to 8 to 9 pages we have created in 2 or 3 reports. So on an average, right, each report close to 5 to 6 pages, but especially 2 reports, the number of pages were more, 8 to 9 pages were there. Okay, the next one is, how did you handle the errors? Okay, how did you handle the errors? What is cyclic dependency error? What is cyclic dependency error? So first of all, how did you handle the error? So what we do is, for example, here, is blank. We have something called is blank. We use is blank function if error, right? If error, and if error, I just go to the Microsoft site so that you can refer the syntax, everything. To trap and handle errors, we use if error function. The same example, look here, I have told you, right? In the numerator, you have something called the profit, the denominator of revenue. So there are some let's say your business is spread across the globe, Zimbabwe, and zombie, many places it is there. In some location, no sales, right? So for a specific category, or a specific subcategory, in that country, in that specific region, there are no sales, no revenue. But somehow we got the profit as 25. Okay, in the numerator 25, but denominator anything zero comes, what will happen? It will fail. The report will fail. The visual will become, error. You see your bar chart or something, it will show error. We want to avoid that. And what we are doing is, instead, if you get any value, like this in the denominator 0, don't throw an error. Instead, replace this error by this value 9999. Guys, remember, this is actually they use this kind of customers, right? They want us to use these kind of numbers, 4 nines or something, so that you can find out in which record we have values for triple 4 nines. By querying only those records, we can find out. We will have to do some root cause analysis. If you don't, now the question is, if I don't use if error, what will happen? Your visual will show error in it. Your visual will show error in it. To overcome that, what we are doing is, no, I don't want to show any error. Instead, I'll put 999. This is the default value. Okay, one milestone, the screening part sort of thing, we cross it. Cyclic dependency, I'll explain it later. Okay. The next one, the basic questions like what is cardinality? How many of you remember what is cardinality? What is cardinality? Cardinal is nothing but relationship, right? Table relationship. Why you need to have a relationship? In the SQL Server also, I have explained why do you need to create the relationship between tables? To query the data from more than one table. Okay. We need to create the relationship. In the SQL, the same thing is applicable in Power BI also. Okay. When it comes to Tableau and ClickView, you don't have to create the relationship and all. It takes care automatically. But when it comes to Power BI, you need to create it explicitly, the relationship between the tables. But though Power BI creates the relationship automatically between the tables, still you need to go ahead and validate it. Okay. And now can you tell me the type of relationships with the examples? So one-to-many relationship, one-to-one relationship, one-to-many, many-to-one, and many-to-many relationship. So one-to-one is something like a single person, each citizen should hold only one SSN, social security number. In US, we call it the social security number. Each citizen should hold only one social security number. Each social security number should get assigned to only one citizen. This is an example for one-to-one. One-to-many is a single customer can order more than one product in a single order, right? Or a customer can raise more than one order. A single customer can raise more than one order. This is an example one to many. What is a many to one? A single, many to one is, what is the many to one? Many customers or many employees can work on a single project. More in the real time project. That's how, right? Like I said, in the offshore we have 7 people working for a single project. Many people in a single project. Many to one example. The next one is what is star schema and snowflake schema? The fact table surrounded by star is called your snowflake schema. Okay, the fact tables that are surrounded by the fact table is called your snowflake schema. The next one is what is fact table? What is dimension table? What is fact table? And you just do Googling and send it now. Motivate me. Otherwise, I will scream. See, star schema contains both dimension as well as fact tables in it. And what is snowflake schema? Snowflake schema contains the same thing, fact and dimensional, but in addition to that, it will have sub-dimension tables. Sub-dimension tables. Abhinaya, fact table is numeric data. Don't say numeric data. A fact table consists of the combination of the dimension tables keys plus the facts. Okay, the fact is nothing but the measures or the numeric values. The fact table, we store the numeric values. You just remember that. Along with that, we specify the dimension keys. Okay, I just explain one more time. This is your fact table. This is your fact table, sales fact. Okay, here you have numeric values like units sold, units, and sale amount, and you have some revenue, gross revenue, net revenue. These are numeric values, right? Numeric values. But if you say the sales is so and so, 101K we made. 101K for what? If I tell you 101K, right? Give me a report or tell me the numbers. If you say 101K units we sold, the next question is which product you sold 101K, man? So for that, product key, because the product name will not be available here. For that, we use a product dimension table. Product dimension table will have the product key and the product name, and then all the one-time information, the unit cost, those kind of things. Okay. And here what happens is by joining these two tables using the product key, right? Product key and product key, you will be able to retrieve the product name, right? because here we don't show the product name, product key only, because space, we don't want to, repeat the product name multiple times. So product key. Similarly, okay, product, let's say electric shaver, 101K, sales we received, we generated 101K, and which customer purchased. So you have customer dimension, right? Customer dimension, you have customer key, customer name. Here you have something called customer key. And here you have the customer key and customer name. All right. This customer key and customer key, you join it in order to get the customer name. Okay. So to answer the business question, to provide context to the numeric values, we need to include the dimension keys of all the tables. So it is a combination of dimension keys plus facts. And the dimension tables will give you the context to the facts. This is the numeric values. Numeric values are nothing but facts. Like I said, 101K. Will that helps me? No. Okay, product key is here. Product key, product key AX015. Amazon, they sell 1 billion products. So do you think you can remember AX0567 belongs to which product name? You don't know. So you need to join this one. So the dimension table help you to give the context to this one. Hey, this is nothing but the electric shaver. In electric shaver, in the last quarter, we made 101K. So dimension table gives the descriptive information for the facts that are stored in your fact table. Fact table consists of the combination of the dimension key plus the facts. Facts are nothing but numeric values. Okay, and the next one is it seems we need one more session. It seems okay. Okay, next one is fine. How many number of tables you have used? Can you tell me the table names? Customer dimension, channel dimension, promotion dimension, date dimension, store dimension, location dimension, sales fact, order fact, and the order fact, and then or fulfillment fact. Okay, so you have worked only on this subject area, the sales. No, we worked on the financial part also. We developed some ratio analysis report, and liability to equity ratio, return on total assets, current ratio, gross profit. What you do is you can do some kind of Googling so that you will get to know the formula for this. Try to remember certain things, okay? So that these kind of things can give them more confidence. Yes, this if a recruiter, both the employee as well as the manager will not develop heart attack, right? You see, I imagine that in a project, right? So in a project, see, when I worked with Cognizant, I was handling close to 50 people in my team. Okay, and almost 8 people, they were literally doing nothing. Okay, and what happened, since the team size was big, whatever the work they are supposed to complete, I assigned it to other team members. I used to take them to team lunch every week. Okay, every weekend we go to star hotel and a throw party to motivate them. End of the day, otherwise everything will fall on my head. So we motivate them everything, right? So make sure that you are you are good with many things. You have more hands on. You worked with many reports, and you know what is KPIs and what are the KPIs formulas, and it shows that how interested you are, right? It is not that we are working for money, isn't it? How many of you agree with this, right? We work for our passion. Everyone has ambition, right? Likewise, right? You need to tell them the KPIs. You need to tell them the reports, and in the case of you can tell them, apart from this, you have purchase fact. If I say purchase, what comes to your mind? Let me see how many of you can logically think if you are working in any store or something like that. Purchase fact, supplier dimension, right? Yeah, we purchased 100 products. 100 products from which supplier? For that, to hold the supplier, you need a supplier dimension. Okay, have we made the payment to a supplier or not? For that payment dimension, right? So what is shared dimension? For example, we have something called, they'll ask you something like shared dimension. Date dimension. Can you tell me an example shared dimension? Date dimension. Why date dimension is called shared dimension? So in that case, the purchase fact, let's say we have something purchase fact. Okay, and even for sales fact. Actually, okay, it should be like this. Okay, the date dimension is for both, right? Using date, we want to filter these two tables, right? If I want to see some, so in which, how many units we purchased from each supplier or vendor, when did we purchase it, in which quarter wise, I know how many number of units we purchased from which suppliers. You want to see the report quarter wise, all things, right? The date dimension. See, the date dimension is common. You use it for two different facts. Hence, it is called a shared dimension. Okay. So all these things we have discussed. How many number of tables you used, and the next one is um, they'll ask you the table name, column name also they'll ask. Remember that, okay? And what is many to many? If everything you say fat, they'll think, yeah, this guy, Rashmi, in the previous batch, the same thing I conducted. I put everyone. And in fact, she said, Satya, please hold on, I will tell. She tell fat. That is how you should be. So that it gives me a confidence that, okay, Nilesh, okay, I'll unmute you. Yeah, already unmuted. Why don't you ask question, Nilesh? You need to unmute from your side. Once, oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah, Nilesh, go ahead. You have questions? Yes, go ahead.
No, I'm going to tell that many-to-many relationship.
Yeah, so what is many-to-many relationship? Tell me that.
Okay, many-to-many relations occurs when multiple record in the table are associated with a multiple table record in the another table.
Yeah, multiple records associated with multiple records in other table. That is what your many-to-many relationship definition is fine. Okay, very good. And how did you overcome many-to-many relationship?
We can use a bridge table for that.
Excellent. Okay. And why you need a bridge table?
So we can.
Give me an example. Tell
For
me the
example,
table names.
if there are the three tables, in one table there is a employee ID, then employee name. In another table is a employee ID, then project name, project ID, and the third one is a project ID and a project name. So if two tables, I mean first and third table wanted to join both tables, so we need to use a common table between two tables. For example, employee ID and the project ID.
Excellent, right? Okay, very good. See, something like, what he was saying is something like this. I
First
have a
table.
table called the employee, right? Employee and project. So listen, this is your employee table.
Employee ID
Yeah, here you have employee ID and
and
name, and here you have project ID and
uh,
project name, and then project start date, project end date, and the employee date of birth, all the other columns. These are the important thing. Employee ID, employee name, and project ID. So here what you have created is you have created, each employee can work on more than one project. Each project can have more than one employee. Hence it is
101
many to many relationship. Yeah. So in that case, if I want to, get the data from these two tables, we need to have bridge table. Bridge table is also called a link table. Here, what we do is we will have the employee ID from this table, and we need to, keep the project ID from this table. We are using this table as a bridge to combine these two tables IDs. You can say that way also. Okay. So for this table, the employee ID comes from the employee table, and project ID, for this in this table, the project ID, the value for the project ID comes from the project table. But in the project table, the project ID is the primary key. The employee table, employee ID is the primary key. But here in this bridge table, both the employee and project ID can have duplicate values in it. But if you combine these two things, it will be like a composite key, composite primary key. Okay, here there is a one-to-many relationship between the bridge table and the other table. That's all here. This is how we implement it. So we cannot avoid the many-to-many relationship in real-time scenario. So even if we encounter what we need to do, this is the best practice, right? This is how we need to implement it. We need to introduce a bridge table. You just say a bridge table with some table name. If you tell, they'll be happy. Fat you finish it. Okay. Very good. So Nilesh is on the is good now. So what is disconnected table? Tell me a scenario when you have used the disconnected table. So guys, I'll tell you, before you take up the interview with the prospective employees, please take the mock interview with me, or probably I'll put some other people. If you are scared of me, I'll put somebody else. Take up the mock interview. Okay. See, the my other student, right? Instead of me repeating till she went and took the interview, they asked what is disconnect table. Disconnect table I covered already, right, in the DAX. But she did not attended my session. Simply, if you ignore it, if you don't join my session, and then after attending the interview, the trainer did not come. That is not my responsibility. Okay, at least go and watch what videos I uploaded it. Right? What is disconnected table? How many of you remember it? So yeah, in the case of a relationship, we make sure that we create a relationship between the two. There are situations we don't need to have the relationship between the tables. I have explained to this one. How many of you remember the selected value function? Selected value function. See what I did, I created a table. You remember in the Power BI desktop, I just show you here. Yeah, we just go to the data view. Probably you can go here and then you can create a no, not here. Even I forget this more frequently. Enter data, right? You just click on this one. You just put something like you remember the on off. I have used on off in the case of dynamic conditional formatting. What is dynamic conditional formatting? In the case of table, matrix or something, right? If the sales is between so and so, low sales. If the sales is between so and so range, medium sales. If the sales is between, we define the rules, right? And then for if the sales is between this and this, then it's a low sales, highlighted in red. If the sales is between so and so thing, amber. If sales is between so and so, higher sales in this, we specify some range, anything between 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs, anything for 5 lakhs to 15 lakhs. This is my high sales. We use different color coding in the background, right? That is what your formatting, conditional formatting. How do I make a dynamic conditional formatting? So in that case, we create a measure. In the measure, we specify the condition, everything, right? If the sales is this one, that measure we go and map it with the property of that specific visuals, the format, conditional formatting, right? So in this case, what we do is, in addition to that, we create a table here. For example, here something like that's why don't accumulate, don't postpone it. I learned from one, the in Tamil Nadu, in Chennai, one guy became a super hit in business, Saravana stores. He acted in movie also now. Everyone laughed at his movie, but still, the success for his businesses, he never postponed it. 2 weeks
Legends.
after 2 weeks, whatever you do it well ahead. That's why don't postpone it. For example, here I just say on, and the one is this one off and two, or we say on is one, off is zero. I create it like this. What I do is I just say load. How many of you tried this one? I shared this one dashboard, right? How many of you tried? Okay, I'm going to see my website. I'm going to include a new feature called hackathon. Those of you completed, you will get big money. First prize, second prize, third prize. Let me see, at least with that you can do it. I just go here, not this one. So this is the one I created, right? So table, yeah, column 1, column 2. I just go here and then the table 1 and table 2. So here I just simply, what I'm going to do is, yeah, I'm going to use a slicer here. And then if somebody is asking a question in the interview, you need to say like this. We need to create a table. In that table, we specify the on-off situation. So what scenario use it? In the case of dynamic conditional formatting. For example, I don't need the background colors to be displayed. When I click on, the background color should be enabled, displayed, red, green, blue. When I click on off, it should not display. Okay, the color should not display. So here this table is not connected to any other table. Look here, if you go here, in the interview, simply say them the disconnected table. We have used it in the case of first of all, it will not show here, right? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it is no, not this one. It will not show here at all. Yeah, it will show here also. Correct. Yeah, table. That's why you need to scroll towards the end. This table is not connected to any other table. So what we are doing is, in this case, you remember when I select off, what will happen is you need to use something called selected value. If selected value function, there is a function called selected value that is available in DAX. In the selected value, the beauty of selected value is whatever the item that we selected, it automatically captured. Hey, you selected off. Okay. And here, what is off? Column 2. The corresponding off, what is the value? For example, I just show you here. For off, what is the corresponding? Numerically 0. For on, what is the corresponding? If the selected value returns off here. So when you see, I clicked on off, the selected value function, it goes and captures. It's like a CCTV. Okay, hey, this guy you selected off. And what is the corresponding code? The corresponding code is column 2. You need to capture it. If the column 2 is 0, then you don't display that one. Else, you display that one, right? That's all. You can use a switch function. I demonstrated with switch function, right? So when you click, so in this kind of situation, the disconnected table is used. As the name suggests, the disconnected table will not have any relationship with the existing table. It is a kind of a standalone table. So what scenario we use it? The case of dynamic conditional formatting, we use it. Whatever the value that we selected, the selected value function, it captures the whatever the value. For example, off on, we have used in the slicer. This one, based on which we will decide whether the background color displayed or not. We can say this one, this much. You don't have to be technically sound. Remember it everything upfront. Okay, you can tell them. If you tell them step by step, step one, we have to create a table. Okay, in that table, we create two columns. The first column is my on-off switch. Second column is code. Okay, and then the second step is we create a measure. The measure we have specified like selected value is equivalent to this 0 or is equivalent to 1. Is equivalent to 1. Then you specify that measure. Else, don't specify anything. Okay, that's all. So that is what so disconnect table. You understood, right? Here we are not creating any relation with the table. In this kind of situation, you don't need it. It's kind of a standalone table. You tell them, okay, what kind of scenario that you use it. In the case of dynamic conditional filtering, you use it to enable the end user. Let's say you develop the report. Let's say I'm the CEO of the company. You share the report. I don't want to see the background color, red, green, amber, and all. So I should be given an opportunity. When I click on off, that red, green color should off, and simple table data should show. And if I want it, so it should help the end users or report users. It will improve the end users to improve the report users experience. We have created a slicer wherein first we created a table. That table was having the switch, off, on, and the corresponding code is specified as a 0 and 1. And then using selected value, we select the corresponding code value for the item that we selected. And with that, what we do is we enable the conditional formatting or non-conditional formatting. Okay, what is cross filter and its type? Nilesh, what is cross filter? What are the types are there? What are the options are in cross filter?
So cross filter is it's calculate the relation between the existing two column. and existing in the two columns, and it's not written the values. It's never written the values, and there is a syntax for that. Is a cross filter in bracket column number 1 comma column number 2 comma direction. And for example, if we take a three I mean the three table, the dim product, dim customer, and self fact. So there are the two type, single and both. So if we join these two, dim product and dim customer, with the self fact, we can use a single. So they can only connected with this table with a single, only incoming,
Mm-hmm.
not outgoing. And
Mm-hmm.
if you use the both, then there will be incoming and outgoing connection.
Okay, when will you use cross filter direction both?
When we wanted to filter the both table in both way.
Which tables?
For example, there is a team product, right, table. There is a team customer table, and there is a self fact table.
Very
Okay,
good.
so
Okay.
self fact table is a center one.
Yeah.
If a self fact table wanted to filter the team product, we can use a single. But if there is a condition, if a team product also wanted to the filter the cell fact table, so we can use the both.
No, no, the
That
sales, yeah, the TIM product table wants to filter your fact table. That's the default one, right?
yeah.
And the opposite, if you want to do it, fact table, you want the fact table to filter your product table, then
Yes.
you need to enable bidirectional relationship. Okay.
Yes, that's called the
The
biodirection.
other example is like customer and product dimensions are there. If I wanted to use my customer dimension table to filter my product dimension table, there are no direct relationship exists between these two. So in that case, if I want my customer dimension table to filter my product dimension table, I need to enable the bidirectional relationship between fact table and my product table.
Yeah, you given the bank example, I think.
Yeah, that is another example. Okay, you can tell the simple example. Okay, but however, we can enable bidirectional relationship manually. It is not advisable. So what we do is we use a function DAX function cross filter using which we enable the bidirectional relationship. Okay, that's all. And what is a bookmark? When to use it? Give me a scenario where we have used it.
We use it in we take a screenshot for that bookmark. We had
Okay. Okay.
set.
What scenario that you used it? Why? What is the advantage of this one?
Uh, I I practiced that one, but
The bookmark captures the current state of your report page, right?
we
So it can, it includes the filters, slices, and visuals on that page.
yes.
Okay. And it is very, using which you can do some kind of slideshow when you want to present the
Yes,
report
there is
to
the option
management.
slideshow.
You can create the slideshow, and also we have some requirements like for country wise what is the sales, and country wise, quarter wise what is the sales, and the country wise, region wise they want to see separate report instead of creating multiple reports. What we did was, we have used a single page. In the single page, we have used the slicer visual using which we have selected the specific values. For that, we took this snapshot, and for each copy or snapshot or capturing the screenshot, right? We have given a bookmark name, each name. So the bookmark, the advantage of the bookmark is, right, in a single page itself, we can enable the end users to view whatever the report that they wanted by selecting the appropriate bookmarks. The next one is what is row level security and what is dynamic row level security? How did he implement this?
Um,
Tell me, see, it need not to be grammatically correct. At least let me see you are able to understand. Or even if your sentence structuring is not correct, is also fine. Okay. See, row level security restricts or limit the user to view, what they are supposed to be, right? So, sorry, it will restrict the users or it will limit the data a user can view, right? The user should not, all the users should not view every data, right? Whatever the data they intend to view, only those data they are supposed to view it. Using row level security, we can enforce this. The dynamic row level security is instead of manually configuring it, we use a separate table. As and when any new employee joins, we specify the employee name, first name in that table. And what we do is we go and make an entry in the table only, not in the Power BI report. We never make any changes to. Once you implement the row level security at a report level in your report, we are not going to make any change to the report later point in time. To overcome this, right? Sorry, to achieve this, right? So once you see, that is the whole idea of this. And if your code should be dynamic. Once you develop a software, this is common in almost all the programming language. Once you develop it, and you're not supposed to open your code and make changes every now and then, right? So every new employee comes, you think you go and open your Power BI, manage manage roles, you go create change, you assign the users, you don't have to do it. Once you define it, that's it. So whenever new employee comes in, you are going to enter the data only in the table level, not at the code level, report level. And that is what dynamic row level security. How did we implement this? So we created a separate table wherein we specified all the username and then the corresponding email ID. And then for example, in our case, the region wise, we want to restrict the North region report users should view only the North region. So we have a separate column for region name and then the email ID. So whenever the user logins with their respective email ID, there is something user principal name DAX function. It automatically captures the user's email ID and it checks with this table, right? The table for the row level security, and then it enables the users to view only that specific region. That's all. And what you do now, whatever questions I mentioned here, do Googling at least, and then you prepare for it. Let me see, you who knows, you might crack the interview, right? What is ETL and what are the transformation that you have done so far? All of you, please type it in the chat window. No escape. What is ETL? E stands for extract, T stands for transform, L stands for load. What all transform that you have done? So you've done almost all the common transform. Apart from that, there are some business specific transformations we did it. So for example, you want to reformat the data type and you want to remove the duplicate records. And yeah, right. And then we wanted to remove the duplicate records and we want to filter the records, and then we wanted to address the the missing values. In case of any missing values, we need to replace with some meaningful value, and also appending data from more than one file, merging the tables, the customer dimension and fact table, you want to merge it, merging, so again they'll ask this question: what is left anti-John? Can someone tell me? When I say the transformation, when you answer this one, the questions will be very dynamic. Yeah, check data type, correct. And what is anti-John? Left anti-John. What is left anti-John, right anti-John? Okay, fine. So, right, see, this is what your left anti-John. It's something like minus, right? You have something A minus B. You are excluding B, that's all. Right? Sorry, it should not come here. Sorry, I'll just draw it correctly. All the values belongs to A only, not B. This is A and B. A minus B. If they ask you what is left hand adjoint, it is something like minus. A minus B. Supposing you have two tables A, B, A minus B. If they ask you right hand adjoint, if they ask you right hand adjoint, very good, Soumya. B minus A, excellent, right? Okay, very good. Very good. So you can say, left hand adjoint is don't panic. It's like a minus, A minus B. For supposing you have two tables, A minus B is your left hand adjoint, right hand adjoint is B minus A. That's all. How to find the what happens when you have too many inactive relations in your data model? Too many inactive relations are there. So first of all, what is active relationship? What is inactive relationship? Nilesh, why don't you tell? What is active and inactive relationship?
Uh, Active relation means what, uh, active relation mean yeah, in practically that if there is a relation between two table, if that relation is in dotted line, then it's an inactive relationship, and if that relation is not in dotted line, then it's active relationship. We can use the DAX function for that to convert the inactive relationship to in the active relationship. Is it right?
What is the DAX function? Which DAX?
uh, so for example, if there are the four table that product
Function name, function name. DAX function name. Which DAX function name? Which,
calculate, we can use calculate.
and then the use relationship. Remember that. There is a function called use relationship to convert inactive to active temporarily. Use relationship. Use relationship.
Yes.
Use relation or yeah, use relation function, right? Use relation function. Okay, using which you can convert the inactive to active temporarily till that the calculation is over. And how to, the next one is, this is scenario based, how to find the current month's starting day sales to show in a chord visual. There is a visual called chord, right? So here, I want to, so for example, in my slicer, Jan, Feb, March is there. Okay, and then I have the chord visual. Listen, when I select the February month, it should say February month, first day one sales, right? Whatever the month that I selected, irrespective of the month I selected, it should show the first day sales of that specific month. How do I do that? This involves some kind of dash code. I will explain it later. Okay. And the next one, what are the connection? This is kind of scenario based question, real time scenario. They'll ask you this kind of thing. And then the other question is, how do you enable dynamic conditional filtering, conditional formatting? I told you that table, disconnect table, right? You just watch my video also. Okay. What are the connection modes in Power BI and how to use, how to use which one, and sorry, when to use which one, and or how to use which one, and difference between them or amongst them. What are the connection modes are there in Power BI?
uh, there are three type of connection: import, direct query, and a live connection.
Okay, so what is the difference between import and dynamic connection?
uh, for, So what in the I think in the first one, the import, for the import, it's downloads the data locally. For
Very
the
good.
second one, the direct query, it's
Mm-hmm.
downloads the metadata
Mm-hmm.
for that. Uh,
Excellent.
for example, there is a database and there is a Power BI.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened is the Power BI created the Power BI created, for example, it's created the query. Okay, and we run that query to fetch data from the database, and it's sent to the Power BI.
Very good. So Power Query editor, what it does is generates the SQL query for the steps that you carry out in the Power Query editor. That SQL query will be sent to your source system SQL Server database, and the query will get fired there. The output of the query will be sent back to your Power BI desktop. That's all. The answer is correct. Little bit structuring is important. Okay, if you sentence structuring is correct, it's good. Its answer is correct, but little bit structuring is okay. Okay. Good, good. So nice attempt. Very good. So and the okay. Now you explained what is import, what is direct query. Tell me, when can I use import mode? When can I use direct query mode? What kind of scenario can I use it?
Mm.
Okay, if the volume of the data is too high, then you can go for direct query mode. Let's say you have a SQL Server
Yes.
database. The table, the classic example, sales fact. We have some order fact. The order fact, the volume of the data is too high, and we don't want to import the entire data here. Importing will take a lot of time. So what we did, we use the direct connectivity mode. Okay, on a case-to-case basis, we have used import mode. On a case-to-case basis, we have used the direct query mode. The volume of the data was very high. We use direct connectivity mode. The import mode we have used. See, even though we are using the SQL Server, there are some tables that doesn't undergo frequent changes. Those kind of tables we have imported, and importantly, the volume of those tables were also less. For example, the dimension tables, like date dimension, then location dimension, store dimension, right? These will not, undergo frequent changes, right? Those will not undergo frequent changes. You can use import and load it here because the import is pretty faster. It works it works so fast for the mid-sized volume of the data. Full stop. So what is what? And application, right? This is application. When are we going to use which one? Okay, fine. And the next one is, and then, okay, what is live connection? They'll ask, intentionally those guys, they'll ask, what is live connection? Power BI service. See, live connection is possible only for three sources: SQL Server, SSAS table or SSAS multidimensional, and Power BI service. But we never worked with SSAS, tell them afraid. And some cases we have used Power BI service. For example, Power BI datasets, PBIDS. We connect to the cloud service and import the already published report, and wherein the data architect, they already designed all the tables, they did the data modeling, everything, they did data cleaning, everything. Only thing is we just import that data from the cloud, and then we start creating the reports, that's it, and then publish it to the cloud. The okay, compared to direct query mode, the live connection is a bit faster. Okay, but when we compare import and direct query, we cannot generalize on a case-to-case basis. For example, in the case of huge volume of the data, the direct query is the best fit, best fit. That is the option that you are supposed to use it, right? Okay. What are the visuals that you used so far in your project, current project and past project? I could see that you have 3+ years experience. Very good. So what are the visuals that you used so far? Tell not some visual. See, she did not join Tulasi. See, guys, they will ask you in Excel, did you what kind of chart that you tell them whatever I just taught you, right? You can tell some, don't talk too much, don't talk too less. You should be very smart. You tell them, yeah, but the bar chart, the column chart,
Yes,
pie chart. These are the things that we use it in Excel. And after we started using Power BI, they wanted us to use all the visuals that are available as part of Power BI. Apart from the built-in visuals, we have used custom visuals also. Why have used custom visuals? Because there are some business requirement. The predefined visuals or the built-in visuals that are available as part of Power BI is not helpful. Hence, we have downloaded the custom visual. What is the custom visual that you used in a project? How many of you remember? Infographic. I taught you infographic, right? Infographic, and then the scroller, right? And then probably I will tell you that one also. Word cloud. Okay, I'll tell you that one also. Don't worry. Let me see if I can cover it in another 5 minutes. Okay, now you tell me what is the difference between line and bar chart. See, in the interview they'll ask you what are the charts that you used it. Charts are nothing but visuals. What are the visuals that you used it? Card visual, slicer. Slicer is common, right? Almost all the report use slicer. Slicer, card visual, and bar chart, column chart, line chart. We used it, right? The line and area chart. We use to see the trend. Obviously, you have to use either the area chart or the line chart, right? Those are the chart that used it. Apart from that, we used the map also, Bing map, and we have used tree map. And apart from this, the visuals like decomposition tree. I'll show you now what is the decomposition tree. That is the one I am yet to complete it. I'll show that one also. Okay, and okay, these are the visual I used it. What you need to tell? You need to say, hey, we have used stacked bar chart and we have used a combo chart. I have used the line chart, area chart, tree map, and some cases we used waterfall chart. Okay, and then they'll ask you what is waterfall chart. Okay, obviously, yeah, they give more salary now. You should be able to answer everything. You should be knowing more. They expect more value from you. Okay, and fine. And Excel, if they ask, even if you don't know, right, you should be smart. You say, yeah, I use simple charts. You can tell them I used it. So don't say one student, she said, I don't know Excel. Instead of saying, then what they say, right? She's looking for a job just for the sake of earning money. She's not. She doesn't have any ambition. Okay, I have slicer. Need to show the dates up to the current date dynamically. How can you achieve this? I have slicer. Need to show the dates up to the current date dynamically. How can you achieve this? You remember we cleared the calendar table, right? Nilesh, the calendar table, uh, what is the arguments that you use? The two values, from to we can specify. Inside the calendar function, from and to dates we have to specify, right? The from, instead of using the date when I started my company and till date. The first argument is when I started my company. Let's say, Jan 1st, 2018, and today's date is 6th December 2022. So up to this date, all the dates should be displayed in my slides. Dynamically, it should show how it is possible.
Sir,
Yeah.
I have one question that if they ask the question, so we need to give the answer with the example every time with the scenario.
If you give, it will be good. See, don't, allow you dominate the interviewer. This is how you dominate. You go, extra mile. Then they will think, oh, good, good. Sometimes you're not supposed to go extra mile. If you are not sure, right, don't talk too much. But ideally, prepare well. And with scenario, if you explain them, they'll be very happy.
Okay.
Okay. So here in this case, the calendar table, we have used this one, right? The minimum order date, maximum order date, right? It automatically picks up the latest date. So if you select those kind of date column here, your slicer will have up to date date in it. Tell me a text scenario that you handle in Power Query. This one, when I explain you the word cloud, you'll be able to understand. Probably I'll tell you that. Okay, how to find the current month's starting day sales to show in a card? I already asked this. Connection modes. Okay, what is decomposition tree? And next one is okay. I will show you this one, and then now what are DAX function that you use? The last part of this one. What are DAX function that you used it so far? They will ask you this question. Let me see how many of you are smart. What are DAX? Sum function, min function, max function, average function, count rows, distinct count, if and or switch, is blank. Just now, I explained if, right? If error, is blank, all function, filter function. You need to tell them fata 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 like this. And you should be smart. I told so many functions now. Like sum function, min function, max function, average function, distinct count, and count rows, calculate, filter, all, except, intersect, union, summarize columns, is empty, date diff, date add. These are the examples. These are the functions that when you talk like this, they will be very happy. This guy is smart and also is good. Okay, next question is, what is a calculate function? When did you use this function?
Uh,
Did you
I
use this function? They ask you intentionally. Did you use this calculate function?
I know the syntax of that calculate function.
No, they don't care about syntax. Okay, you don't worry about syntax. Okay, they will ask you very see the real interviewer. They expect you to be good with the application part. Okay, and tell me, did you use this function or not? Tell me. Yes, calculate function is one of the important functions in DAX. We had to use it, right? Yeah, we have to use it. Fine, I have used it. Calculate function.
And we can use this one in
Yeah,
the
for different situations, right? I have used calculate function. This is one of the important functions. Functions like the cross filter and use relation, all functions. You cannot use it as a standalone function. You can use those function by wrapping them by the calculate function,
uh,
right? Without calculation function, you cannot call those functions, right? Apart from this, the calculate function is very much helpful in terms of changing the context. It helps us to transition the context. So for example, if you want to convert the row context to filter context, that is possible with calculate function. If you want to evaluate an expression with a modified filter context, then you can use calculate function. You can add a filter, you can modify the filter, and you can do the context transition using calculate function. I have demonstrated with all function. Along with all function, we can modify the filter context. All function is, what is all function? Using all function, we can remove the filters. We can remove a filter. So I think there are some participants, they need to attend my other batch also. Okay. How to enable dynamic conditional formatting? You watch my video. Okay. And then what is the top n function? What is the rank x function? What is the difference between these two? I showed you with two different. Even I got stuck up right while explaining top and function. I must be honest, okay. And if I use top and function, right, it returns a table, and also I can use a top and function as part of my measure also. But when I created a table, when I simply use top and function using create using table, right, with the table option, when I create the top and function, it gives me the of the total records, the top 3 sales it was giving that, right? We can find the top 3 sales out of the, let's say you have 25,000 records are there. Out of the 25,000 or transactions, out of the 25,000 transactions, what is the top 3 transactions? Let's say if you use sales column, it will give you the top 3 sales. Only those column through records, the top 3 sales only will be there in the table. When I use the calculate function, when I use the top n function with the calculate, what I can do is whatever the column that I drag and drop it in my matrix visual or table visual. For example, if I drag and drop the category column, within that each category, for example, we have 3 category. In each category, top 3 sales it gives me. In, let's your appliances category, appliances we have 1,000 transactions. Out of the 1,000 transactions, the top 3, the transaction it gave me. And then we have technology technology category. The technology category, top 3 sales. And then home, and we have what else here? Technology, appliances, furniture. In furniture, top 3 sales. Okay, but rank x function will gives it gives us the rank, right? The 1, 2, 3, something like that. In that case, what happens is it ranks. If I want to see the top 3 customers, top n function, I can use it. Within the rank x function is useful to do the ranking, like a sports ranking, right? Number 1, number 2, number 3, top 3 customers. So you can assign the rank. For that purpose you can rank x. And how to do dynamic top n, I told you, right? So dynamic everything they expect dynamic, they don't prefer static thing. The Power BI itself is a interactive report, right? Interactive in the sense the reports are very dynamic. You can change using the visuals the slicer. Using the slicer, you can apply the filters. You can enable the report users to choose whatever they wanted, based on which the visuals will get updated. Top end, dynamic top end, watch my video. Okay, explain. What are the connection motion? But already, what is decomposition tree already? I don't know why I put it all these things. And probably I will send you some other questions with answers also. And watch my video, this video, how to, start with saying that what is